G'day mates, in today's video I want to kick off talking about the Evaluation Cup. Today was our first chance to see the big new teams like Clix and Pink, Reverse 2K even making his triumphant return to competitive. It was also our first chance to see how the meta was looking going forward, and I want to give my thoughts on what Fortnite is looking like in competitive with Riftigos as the only mobility. Also, we saw big adjustments to the FNCS prize pool, some regions losing a huge chunk of their prize pool and some regions gaining it. We also have a change to the FNCS point format as well as the qualifying format, and I want to talk about whether pros using the pickaxe today that makes you completely silent should be banned. Is this cheating? And if you used it, should you be worried that Epic is going to take action? So there's a lot to talk about. Let's just jump into it. Speaking of the Evaluation Cup, we did have a tournament today. It was the usual format, 7 games, 2 hours, top 50 teams qualify for set lobby finals. There's 4 games and the top 50 teams walk away with $400. Now, there was some issues getting the game started. It got delayed by half an hour, but it was still a cool chance to see A, how the game is going to work with only Riftigos as the mobility meta, and B, to check out some of the new teams. And one of the new teams that just showed up with a massive bang was Reverse 2K and Reciprocal. Reverse 2K officially out of retirement, not only qualifying for the finals, but winning game 1. Reverse 2K is officially back and competing, and for any doubters and any naysayers, he's very much back and ready to go. They unfortunately did fall out of the top 5 for the money towards the end, their last couple games being their worst, but they were not top 10 overall and got a game 1 win. So it's just showing that Reverse 2K is not washed. He can take a break, go play Halo competitively, and come back and still dominate. So the top 5 in the end who got money was Rise and Trashy, a brand new duo just formed, Revised and Walkers, Cold and Censored, absolutely no surprise there, Donnie and Vive, and then Illest and Commandment. So quite a few new teams. We saw Fatch and Pamstu just miss out, and Clix and Pink. Now remember, if you guys haven't paid attention to my videos, Clix and Pink is an official duo. They have announced this officially. Pink is moving to NA, but he's doing it after DreamHack Sweden, which is next week. So Pink and Clix almost earned money today, their first time playing set lobbies together, with Pink on 100 ping. They were dropping Joneses. They were looking really, really good. I think if you're watching Clix's stream, you'll be happy to say as much as he improved as an IGL last season, and he's definitely a lot smarter now. His comms are a lot better. His mental is a lot better. It is great seeing him fall back into that fragger role and let Pink lead the way, because Surge was not an issue today for this team whatsoever. It was really cool to see them. Now, on to the actual game itself. Rifts, the only mobility in the game right now. Pros are incredibly upset. I think it's pretty easy to see why. It's just, they're a get out of jail free card. You're getting pushed, you know, you've got 2 people, they've got you full piece, they're about to put you down, you pull out the rift, you pop it, you fly to the sky, you make the next rotate for free. It's not like there's a couple people rifting, by the way, so you can say, oh, they get beamed out of the sky, it's risky. At one point, in a 45 player rotating zone, I counted 30 players in the sky and 15 players on the ground. There is 2 times as many people in the sky as there are on the ground. It is just not a fantastic meta. Launch pads are a far more balanced version of mobility. There's obviously other things people want in the game, like inflatables, shadow bombs, bouncers. I would love personally to see just bouncers, launch pads, and no Riftigos. I think the main reason why Epic has not put launch pads in the game, and the reason they vaulted them, is because of the Discord. If you guys have seen it, there was a Discord bot that if you put the game code in of your game, it identified where all llamas and launch pads on the map are, which is a huge issue, which has now led llamas to be vaulted in competitive and launch pads, because apparently Epic can't fix it. And I get it, you can't have that in the game, but I have to think Epic has some kind of way of fixing that, or maybe come out with a better mobility item than the Riftigos. I would even prefer to see the Riftigos vaulted and just the bounce pads maybe. And I know what people are going to say. People said it today when I was talking about it on stream. Ozzy, you say you want fun things in the game and then they put them in the game and you complain. The Riftigos aren't fun. I never use the Riftigos as an example of fun mobility. They are just not fun. And I think almost everyone would agree. Even in arena and pubs, you get someone, you're about to kill them, they Riftigo, they run away, you jump in the rift, you chase them. They're not fun. If you find them fun, I apologize. Maybe keep them in arena or pubs to get around the map faster, to key people or play aggressively. And they are good team mobility for casuals, but I just don't think Riftigos belong in competitive, especially with how good players are at the game now. It is letting people just rotate every single rotating zone, have max mats. High ground's a joke because there's people just rifting and landing on it with no skill whatsoever. It's just a perfect example of an item, like I've talked about, that is all reward and 0 risk. If you use a bounce pad well, it's amazing. You save mats, you hit the rotation. If you use a launch pad well, it's amazing. But if you use them poorly, you get beamed, you get stuck in a bad spot, you get lobbied, you get split. You guys know the story. You've tried to use a launch pad, you didn't use it properly, and you died. There is almost no way to mess mess up a Rift to Go. It's just too free. So that's kind of my thoughts on the meta after watching the first set lobby today. There are whispers around that Rift to Go's will be vaulted from competitive, but then that leads us with a meta with absolutely zero mobility, which I would argue is going to be boring as well. So it is a rock in a hard place. I think the only way Epic can fix it is by adding items, not just continually vaulting items. But we don't normally see Epic add items throughout the competitive season. We usually start off with all the items and they slowly remove them, and then that's the meta we end up with. So I don't know how this season is going to go competitively. I just really wish Epic could look at it a little bit differently, maybe try to balance shockwaves, maybe put bouncers in, and we could have such a better season on our hands. The FNCS prize pool is a topic we've covered a lot on this channel, especially since Chapter 2 when Epic decided that player base is what they were going to base the prize pool on. And I understand why people got upset by that. Again, people saying that some regions deserve more because the players are better or they bring more attention to the game. But ultimately, I think it is a fair way for Epic to decide the prize pool. The thing that was unfair though was since Epic decided that prize pool, some regions' player bases have changed significantly and the money hadn't adjusted until about a week ago. I need to point out this graph made by Reese Hub. Again, check him out, link description down below. The absolute GOAT. It shows it perfectly. The prize pool hasn't gained any money. Brazil is just losing quite a lot and is being redistributed around the other regions. So as you can see, Europe has not changed whatsoever. NA East has gained $54,500. NA West has not changed. Brazil has lost $177,500 from their prize pool. Asia has gained $95,500. Middle East has gained 0 and OC has gained 22,000. I know what you guys are gonna say. If you're from the regions who didn't gain anything, you're gonna be like, Europe deserves more. We have the best pros. We're amazing. Like, I get it. NA West players have a reason to complain as well, especially for their cash cups, but I'll get to that in a second. But obviously, Brazil has the most to be upset by right now. But I would argue there's nothing really to be upset by. It's sad to see the prize pool going away, but like I said, the most fair way that Epic can decide the prize pool is based on player base. It'd be cool if they could come up with some crazy metric that makes everyone happy, that takes into account how good the regions are, how many top tier pros they have, you know, how much attention they bring to the game, how much money they generate. But there's almost no way they could possibly do that. Someone is always going to be upset. And I know right now, Brazil is definitely going to be the most upset. I'm not surprised to see NA East gain a little bit more, especially Asia. Again, I'm the one who's been talking about this in several videos. If you look at the player base stats, and I don't have the newer stats, but from Chapter 2 Season 8 to Chapter 3 Season 1, you can see here the player base changed considerably. Asia went up massively, and you knew they were going to have to get some prize money, but Brazil dropped massively as well. The one I'm a little bit confused by is why OCs is going up, because I don't think OC's player base has actually increased that much, but hey, I'm not saying anything. OC, obviously, I love my region. We'll see how that one goes. I'm excited to see whether that ups the player base. Maybe more OC players are going to try and get involved. I don't know if they will for 22,000, but it's cool to see NA East get a little bit of a chunk extra as well. I would argue now my only issue with the prize pool is the fact that the cash cup prize pools should probably be based on the player base when they aren't region locked. So right now the cash cup prize pool is also being based on player base, but obviously it's not region locked. That's the problem. They're basing it off the FNCS player base that is region locked. But if you look at an NA West cash cup, so many NA East players are playing on it, and NA West is not gaining any extra prize pool for that. So I think they need to then readjust the prize pool for cash cups based on the player base in cash cups, and then keep FNCS based on FNCS. I feel like that makes the most sense. But overall, I mean, Brazil, I feel for you. If you're a Brazilian and you watch my video or you're from the Brazil region, I feel for you, but I have to say fair is fair. Fortnite also made 2 other big changes to the FNCS format. Firstly was the point adjustment. So instead of getting 30 points for a win and each elim being 3 in the finals, it's now 35 points for a win and each elim is 2. So the elim to placement ratio went from being 1 to 10 to 1 to 17.5. So really placement heavy now. And a lot of people have been asking for this. I'm always happy as long as eliminations are worth 2 or 3. I don't want to see them worth only 1. I feel like in the finals, if you're eliminating a lot of people, it really does deserve to get points, and it makes it really exciting that teams like, you know, Malibuca Mustache that can pull out 15 kill wins in grand finals, they can come back at any time, and it really makes those final days more exciting. When you have a full placement heavy format, if someone runs away with it, it's really hard that they get caught up. But you could argue that is technically more skillful and more competitive. So I do get the arguments there, but ultimately two points for an elim and 35 points for the win, I am very happy with. The other big adjustment, which I'm not really sure how this one's going to play out, the semi-final finals adjustment is now, instead of top 500 teams making round 3, it's now only top 250 in the major regions. So it's now going to go from anyone to top 2,000 to top 250 to top 50. And that sounds good on paper, because going from top 500 to top 50 was quite difficult. The issue is going to be the queue times. When you've only got 250 duos, that means only 5 lobbies are going at a time. And when players and teams start to run out of games towards the end, it is very, very likely, well, pretty much 100% guaranteed, that every single week we're going to see teams not qualified just because of queues. They're going to get an 8-minute queue at the very end. They're not going to get a game. Teams that are higher on the leaderboard than them or just a little bit below them are going to get a game. They're going to get bumped out. They're going to go to social media. They're going to be pissed off. We've seen it happen time and time again whenever we have formats like this that have such a large amount go down to a really small amount to go down to an even smaller amount. I get why Epic's trying to do it, and maybe they've, reworked how queues work and maybe we won't have an issue, but just looking at this from previous tournaments where we've seen it go from top 250 to top 50, there's always been issues. There is a chance this is going to get patched before I put out this video. Apparently it's been in the game for over a week now and still hasn't been patched. But right now, if you use the Battle Pass pickaxe, the Dragon Rune Lance, and you hold it out while running, your footsteps are completely silent and you don't show up on visual audio. You basically have advanced dead silence as long as you pull out this pickaxe, which you only have to be like level 5 or 10 to get in the Battle Pass. So basically everyone has it. I don't know how Epic does these things. I've heard some theories that because it's a new running animation where you hold this style of pickaxe, that's probably what's broken it. If you move left, right, backwards, or if you slow walk instead of running, or if you sprint, you can then hear your footsteps. But while you're running straight at someone at full speed, you are completely silent. Now, like I said, there's a good chance this has been patched by the time this video goes live, because apparently it's been out for about a week, but it's getting the most attention today because almost every single player in the Evaluation Cup today was running this pickaxe, and obviously because they wanted that advantage. And it opens up that question, should people abusing this be banned? I would argue no. It is definitely Epic's job to not have these things go into the game, and when they are in the game, it is up to them to quickly identify them and fix them. I, for example, even made a tweet highlighting this, adding Fortnite Games official Twitter. Everyone was talking about it, and the whole finals went by, and it was not patched at all. All they have to do is just remove it from the game right now until they fix it, put it back in. Like, I don't expect them to fix it in 10 minutes, but I do expect them to have people paying attention to social media, watching tournaments, to figure out or maybe identify why the entire lobby is running a specific pickaxe and get it out of the game. Obviously, I would love it if exploits like this came out and people would just have, better sportsmanship to not abuse it, but you already know some people are, so it kind of comes down to, if everyone's doing it, you have to do it yourself to make it fair. And you might not agree with that. I get that. That is just down to your personal morals, but there is no way Epic is able to ban every single person that's using it. So by taking the moral high ground and not using it, you're putting yourself at a direct disadvantage for an issue that shouldn't be one that you're facing in the first place. So I know a lot of people are calling for anyone who used this to get banned. It's just not going to happen. I remember previously when another pickaxe had this issue, I believe Mitro actually won a cash cup doing it and he wasn't banned. His earnings weren't taken away. So Epic clearly made a stance at that point, and I think people are running with that stance going forward. So if a cosmetic gives an advantage going forward, people are going to use it and they're going to abuse it. It's on Epic to hopefully not let it get into the game in the first place, or if it does, very quickly get it out. Alright guys, that does it for another video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please chuck a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.